Hello. Now we're going to try part A of our activity sheet, keeping in mind our definition of GDP. Remember the definition of GDP that we talked about right at the end of class last week. Gross domestic product, or GDP, is the value of all final goods produced within the domestic economy in a specific period of time. So what I'm going to do here on the screen is, again, highlight kind of the three key parts of that definition. In our GDP, we only want to count the value of all final goods. Let's highlight that. All right, there we go. Final goods produced within the domestic economy. And the third key thing is in a specific period of time. So we only want to count things, if we're looking at 2014 GDP, things that were actually produced in 2014. Anything before that was previously counted. Anything produced after that would be counted in that later year. So we're going to highlight that. All right. So let's take a look at our first one. Krusty the Clown Dolls. Hey, hey. Produced in 2014 by a Springfield firm located in Japan. So would this be something that should be included or excluded from Springfield's 2014 GDP? I'll give you a minute. You can pause the video. Think about it. Okay, now you've either thought about it or started back up. So if you said excluded, you are correct. And we'll highlight that. The reason that it is excluded, let's think of that reason too. Look at our key terms here. We only want to count final goods. Are the Krusty the Clown Dolls the final good? Yes. Produced within the domestic economy. So we only want to count things produced in Springfield. Where were these dolls produced? They were produced in Japan. So therefore, that is why they are excluded. Produced, in Japan. All right, there we go. There's our first one. Next, Buzz Cola produced by German workers in Springfield in 2013, but sold in 2014. So again, should this one be included or excluded in Springfield's 2014 GDP? Okay, if you said excluded, you are correct. Now let's think about why this one should be excluded. You may be thinking, but wait a minute, it was produced in Springfield, and the Buzz Cola is the final good. That's true, but here's the key. This Buzz Cola was produced in 2013. Remember, it doesn't matter when the transaction took place. What matters is, when did the production occur? It occurred in 2013. It was already counted in 2013's GDP. We do not want to count it again in 2014. That's the specific period we're talking about. So produced and counted in 2013. All right. Next, flour. Grown by farmers in Springfield in 2014, then used in the production of lard lad donuts. Okay, take a minute, think about that one. All right, this one's a little bit tricky. If you said included, that is actually incorrect. This was a tricky one. You may be thinking about, wait a minute, flour that was produced in Springfield, and it was in 2014, so shouldn't that be included? But remember, the other key thing, only the value of final goods. In this example, the flour that's grown is not the final good. The flour is then used to produce the donuts. If we counted the flour separately and then the donuts, we'd be double counting. Again, the value of the flour is included. It's an intermediate good, and it's already going to be included in when you buy your donut. What you pay for the donut, the dollar you pay for your donut, includes the value of things that were used to produce the donut, like flour. So in this example, the flour is going to be excluded. Flour here is not the final good. Now, had this said flour purchased by Marge, then that would be included, because in that context, Marge is buying the flour from the store. She's using it in her home. Then it's the final good. But here, this flour is used by a firm to produce something else, donuts. So it is not the final good in this context. So we can have to be careful with that one. All right, next. The Radioactive Man comic books produced in 2014 by a Springfield firm located in Springfield. That one should be included. That hits all of our criteria. It is the final good, the comic books. It was produced in Springfield, and it was produced in the period that we're looking at, 2014. So it hits all three of those criteria. That would be something included. All right, the last one, Itchy and Scratchy mugs, produced by Springfield Labor at a Springfield firm located in Mexico. That last one is excluded. The mugs are the final good. Was produced in 2014, but where were they produced? They were produced in Mexico. Does not matter that it's a Springfield Resources, Springfield Workers, Springfield firm. That doesn't matter with GDP. Location. Where were these things produced? They were produced in Mexico. Therefore, it's going to be part of Mexico's GDP and not Springfield's GDP. All right, so there we go. The only one that would be included is number 4. It hits all those criteria. All the others are excluded. So there we have it. There's our answer for part A. And our next video will be on part B, calculating GDP using the expenditure approach. That will be the next video that I upload. Thank you for bearing with me. This is the first time I've actually used Screencast-O-Matic, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions.